Hi everyone, I'm Gemma and I'm going to present an update on the West Bench project, which is a small part of my broader PhD research. I'm coming to you from the land of the Yuggera, Yuggera, Jagera, and Turrbal peoples in Meanjin, which you may know as Brisbane, Australia. Before I go into an update, I know some of the people in the room, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting everyone, so a little bit about myself. I lived in Golden for about 5 years, was at Wildside Golden doing the invasive plant program, and then I was the branch manager. And during that time, that's when the beaver work and the West Bench wetland survey started, which was the inception for this project. I then moved to Australia with my husband for what was supposed to be about a year or two. COVID hits, decided to go back to school, still desperately planning to return to the area. Outside of the PhD, I work as a research assistant in climate change adaptation and nature-based solutions. I would say in this forum, the whole area geographically is the focus, and I'm focusing more on the human-nature nexus, things like recreation, and I will be highlighting specific West Bench findings from the broader PhD research for this project. Why is this work important and why care? I think us in this room and within our conservation networks are very familiar with how land use choices and climate change are impacting Golden's environment. However, when you step outside of these circles, it maybe becomes less clear. So we're kind of taking this approach of involving the general community in the research as an avenue to communicate with them that the decisions we make now, like how we recreate, are really shaping our future and affecting local wildlife and ecosystems. And I think it's crucial to understand why people make certain choices and where they get their information from and how that plays into our conservation efforts, either hindering them or supporting them. Okay, so with the actual research, we did a survey recently. It was a very extensive survey, so there is a lot more I could share, but these are just a few of the key insights that are probably more relevant for this project. The West Bench and Dogtooth Range were not seen as an area people were concerned about changes or impacts on wildlife. For when we look at what the top goals are, people said maintaining wildlife corridors, this is potentially an area of misalignment we can work to address. In terms of recreation decision making, there was not a lot of familiarity with GRAP, and those who did know about it suggested that it should be updated. People primarily rely on word of mouth to decide where to go or not to go, so I think that highlights how important sharing all the work that everyone does in this space is to increase the environmental literacy. Logging and motorized recreation were seen as the top activities having a negative impact, and that really ties into a quote from one participant about restrictions on backcountry users while industries harm the environment. And this was a very, very common sentiment throughout. And I think that demonstrates this friction between an us and them and individual actions versus collective actions. Next thing we will be doing is an online mapping exercise about landscape values to spatially identify areas of conflict and agreement. So look out for that come mid-February. I would really like to do some validation of those models with experts like yourself. So my ask of you today is that if you're interested to let me know, and I'd be very grateful either via that QR code at the bottom or an email, or I think there's some links in the abstract that was sent out. I'll then work on putting it all out there to the world in journal articles, thesis, reports towards the end of the year and onwards. That's all from me. Thank you for listening, and I hope I get the chance to chat with some of you soon. Bye.